Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this video, we're going to create shading and lighting. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to take the brush tool and draw something here for shading. And you see, we automatically get some shading. I'm going to draw a light up here as well. And this is not really a light. We need to assign a different color to that. And let's also take a look at the opacity. Now this is to normal and this is also normal, but we could also set it to multiply and then also vary the opacity. And this up here could also be reduced in opacity depending on how you want that to look. But let's take a look at how this has been created. You've seen that I have used the brush tool for it. I have also created a specific brush for that. I'm going to start with a new file. Let's do it like this. This is an RGB file because this is for those blend modes that might work more predictable with RGB document color mode. Let's first hide the artboards and then we're going to create this. And to create that brush, I'm going to start with an ellipse and let's switch stroke and fill and delete the white stroke of this. So now we want to have this fade into the outside. So we're going to copy this and then go to paste in back. And let's then make it larger. So it's now selected. Let's make it larger. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and make it slightly larger. And let's go into outline view to see what we are doing here. And now this depends on how you want this to behave. This here would be a large area for dissolving. You can make that even larger. Hold down the Alt key to do that, like so. Or you can have it flatter, then you would have to make it like this. And as I said, this depends on what you want to use this for. Let's get back to the preview. Now this here, we could make this in white and then have this dissolve between white and black. But inside a brush, you could also use transparency, and that would be working a lot better in this respect. So in order to do that, we set the opacity of this to 0, like so. And now we select both of them and go to Object, Blend, Make. So now we have a blend. There's only one step in between, so let's open the options by double-clicking the Blend tool and let's go to Specified Steps. And now we have to enter more steps here. And you should really watch the amount of steps. It shouldn't be too many because the more steps you have, the more objects you have in your file. You don't see them, but they are there. And we should just use as little as even possible. So if you're not sure, just try it out, print it in the size this is intended to be used, and then you will see, are there enough steps or not? So let's stay with 20, like this. So now we have our blend, and let's select the inner object again, and I'm going to use the color panel here, and you see this is not really black because this RGB document maybe started off based on a CMYK document, and this needs to be really black. So let's enter 0 here. And Illustrator knows the hex shortcode, so it can just make this into the correct code, and we have now really black. Let's go to the brushes panel and let's take this thing and drag it in here and make an art brush. And now, of course, we need to use the method tints, like so. And now this thing is ready to use. So I'm going to take the brush tool and just draw something, and let's assign some color to this, very bright. And let's show the transparency grid, and you see this is really transparent. And now we can use this for the shading of our objects. Let's go to transparency grid again. Now, it would have been possible to even assign that blend mode into the brush. I didn't do that because then the brush is more versatile. Because later on I could select this object and assign any blend mode I like. So this is now normal, and I can assign them in here. They don't need to be assigned inside the brush, but it would be possible to do that. This is how you can create the brush to do this kind of shading. You can use that in a different way. So let's take a look at this here again, and let's make a duplicate. So if we make this quite flat and then select the outer one, I have held down the Alt key while working with the direct selection tool, because then you get the group selection tool. And now let's zoom in a little and make it like this. So I want to have a very long shape. And this now we're going to make smaller. And then also we can go into those blend options again and use fewer steps. Let's set this to 8, like so. And now I'm going to copy it and paste in front and then rotate that. So now we have that kind of star. And we can drag that in here again. This time make a scatter brush and set these all to random. Only the rotation should stay that way. And we also wanted the rotation relative to the page, and this of course to tints. And then we need to set up the scaling and the spacing and all of the things here. Let's make the spacing like this. And let's also make some scattering. I'm going to do that in a rather large way. And now what I need is a huge dark rectangle like this. Let's make that darker, a nice sky. And let's take the brush tool again and draw this like so. And now I need to assign a color to that. So let's make that white. And as you see, we have a starry sky, but we need some more stars. So let's make this smaller and this smaller so that we get some more stars. And you see, now we've got our stars. Now, when this here pops up, then of course we need to check apply to strokes, so that this gets applied to the stroke that we have already drawn.